life cycles, AS biology. So diploid body cells are normal body cells. So normal body cells have the diploid number and they're known as 2N, which means that each cell contains 2 of each chromosome. So 1 from the mother and 1 from the father. So they're known as homologous chromosomes. And the chromosomes that make up each pair are the same size, have the same genes, but they might have different alleles of those genes. And these pairs of matching chromosomes are called homologous pairs. So humans have 23 pairs of chromosomes, so 46 chromosomes in total. So the diploid number for humans is 46. Gametes are the sperm cells and the egg cells. So sperm cells in males, egg cells in females. And gametes have a haploid number, or N. So they only contain 1 copy of each chromosome in a homologous pair. So they have half the number of chromosomes. The haploid number for humans is 23. And then in sexual reproduction, 2 of the gametes will fuse at fertilisation to form a zygote, which divides to form a new organism. At fertilisation, a haploid sperm fuses with a haploid egg, making a cell with the normal diploid number of chromosomes again. So half the chromosomes come from the father, from the sperm, and half of the chromosomes come from the mother, from the egg, to form this zygote, which is diploid. Random fertilisation. So during sexual reproduction, any sperm can fertilise any egg. So fertilisation is random. Random fertilisation produces zygotes with different combinations of chromosomes to both parents. And this mixing of genetic material in sexual reproduction increases genetic diversity within a species. Now looking at life cycles. So you might need to recognise when meiosis happens in an organism with a life cycle that you haven't seen before. So for example, an insect or plant. Remember that in any organism, meiosis is needed for sexual reproduction because it produces gametes with half the number of chromosomes of the parent cell. So as an example, the stages in the life cycle of the malaria parasite are shown here. When and where does meiosis take place in the parasite's life cycle? So you can see we've got N, 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 2N. Well, where it goes from 2N to N is going to be where meiosis takes place. So that's where the zygote divides to form sporozoites. So only the zygote of the malarial parasite is diploid. All the other stages of its life cycle are haploid. The chromosome number only halves when the diploid zygote divides in the mosquito's gut to form the haploid sporozoites. In all other divisions in the parasite's life cycle, the chromosome number stays the same. They're all haploid. So only the zygote divides by meiosis, and it only happens in the mosquito's gut. And then fertilisation of the gametes also takes place in the mosquito's gut. You might also be asked how many chromosomes are in a parent, then asked a complete diagram showing how many chromosomes will be in the daughter cells after the first and second division of meiosis. Remember that the chromosome number is halved during the first division of meiosis. Just a bit of a recap on the difference between mitosis and meiosis. So mitosis produces cells with the same number of chromosomes as the parent. The daughter cells are genetically identical to each other and to the parent cell, and there are 2 daughter cells produced. Whereas in meiosis, it produces the cells with half the number of chromosomes as the parent cell. The daughter cells are genetically different from one another and the parent cell, and it produces 4 daughter cells. So past exam question from AQA. Figure 1 shows the life cycle of a moss plant. In this life cycle, only the stalk and the spore capsule are diploid. All the other parts, all the cells in all of the stages of the life cycle are haploid. So I would first of all start by writing which ones are haploid, which ones are diploid, so 2N or N. So these two, the stalk and the spore capsule, are both 2N, everything else is N. Which letter A, B, C or D in figure 1 shows where meiosis occurs in the life cycle of the moss? Well, meiosis is always when it goes from diploid to haploid, 2N to N, so it's got to be D. Explain how the chromosome number is halved during meiosis. The homologous chromosomes separate, so one of each pair goes to opposite poles, and that happens in the first division of meiosis. Next question, Ulva lactuca has a haploid and a diploid form. Figure 2 shows the life cycle of Ulva lactuca. On figure 2, complete each box with an appropriate letter to show the type of cell division happening between each stage in the life cycle. Use T to represent mitosis and E to represent meiosis. So again, I would write where it says diploid, 2N, 2N, haploid, N, N, N. So where it goes from 2N to N has got to be meiosis. So that's got to be E. And then because it's just going from N to N, this has just got to be T. And because it's going from 2N to 2N, again, that's got to be T. So these three are T. This one is meiosis.